The human commander's eyes blazed with fury as he confronted the captured alien. "You attacked our home," Jordan Davis spat, his voice trembling with rage and disbelief. Talon, the Chalnoth soldier, stood before him unflinching. The alien's scaled skin glistened under the harsh lights of the interrogation room, a stark reminder of the otherworldly threat that had descended upon Earth without warning. Just hours earlier, the skies above Earth's major cities had erupted in a terrifying display of destructive power. The Chalnoth fleet, vast and relentless, unleashed a devastating orbital bombardment that shattered humanity's sense of security. Towering skyscrapers crumbled like sandcastles, and entire neighborhoods were reduced to smoldering craters. Commander Jordan Davis, a seasoned veteran of Earth's unified defense forces, found himself thrust into the heart of humanity's darkest hour. As reports flooded in from around the globe, he coordinated a desperate counterattack against the Chalnoth invaders. Earth's most advanced weaponry and tactics proved insufficient against the overwhelming numbers and superior firepower of the alien armada. Cities burned, millions perished. The planet's defenses crumbled under the relentless assault. In the command center, Jordan made the gut-wrenching decision to initiate the evacuation protocol. Key personnel, irreplaceable resources, and as many civilians as possible were to be transported to humanity's secret off-world colony, a last-ditch effort to preserve some remnant of Earth's population and knowledge. Amidst the chaos of the evacuation, Jordan's team captured Talon. Now, as precious seconds ticked away and the fate of humanity hung in the balance, Jordan demanded answers. "Why?" he growled, leaning close to the alien prisoner. "Why did you attack us?" Talon's multifaceted eyes reflected no remorse as he responded. "Your species advances too quickly. You pose a threat to Chalnoth dominance in the galaxy." The revelation hit Jordan like a physical blow. The attack wasn't provoked by any human aggression. It was preemptive, a cold calculation to crush humanity before it could challenge Chalnoth's supremacy. With Earth's defenses in ruins and time running out, Jordan made the hardest decision of his life. He gave the order to abandon the planet. As the last colony ships prepared to launch, carrying the remnants of human civilization into the depths of space, Jordan vowed to himself and to the survivors that this was not the end. They would rebuild, they would grow stronger, and one day they would reclaim their home. The fleet of Earth's refugees accelerated away from their ravaged homeworld, Chalnoth warships in hot pursuit. Jordan's mind raced, formulating plans even as they fled. He knew that humanity's survival now hinged on their ability to adapt, to forge new alliances, and to leverage their unique strengths against a vastly superior enemy. As the blue orb of Earth receded in the view screens, Jordan set his jaw with determination. The Chalnoth had grossly underestimated humanity's resilience. In their arrogance, they had created not just an enemy, but a force that would unite the galaxy against them. The human race may have lost its home, but in doing so, it had found its destiny among the stars. The colony ship surged through the inky void of space, carrying the remnants of humanity away from their shattered homeworld. Commander Jordan Davis stood at the bridge viewport, watching as the last traces of Earth's blue orb faded into the distance. His fingers curled into fists at his sides, nails digging into his palms. "Commander," a voice called from behind him, "we've detected a suitable planet in the Epsilon Eridani system. It's far beyond the current reach of Chalnoth territory." Jordan turned to face Lieutenant Chen, his navigation officer. "Show me." A holographic display flickered to life, revealing a rust-colored world wreathed in swirling storms. Chen's fingers danced across the controls, zooming in on the planet's features. "We're calling it New Haven. The atmosphere is toxic to most life forms, and the surface experiences extreme temperature fluctuations. It's precisely these harsh conditions that make it an ideal hiding place." Jordan nodded, his mind already racing with possibilities. "Those conditions will provide natural camouflage against Chalnoth scanners. We'll need to construct underground facilities to shield our people from the environment." Over the next several months, New Haven transformed from a hostile rock into humanity's last bastion. Jordan oversaw the construction of vast subterranean complexes, their walls reinforced to withstand the planet's frequent seismic activity. Teams of engineers worked tirelessly to implement advanced cloaking technology, rendering the settlement invisible to passing ships. As the colony took shape, Jordan assembled a council to chart their path forward. Dr. Elias Ross, a xenobiologist with a shock of white hair and piercing green eyes, proved to be an invaluable addition. His focus quickly turned to studying their Chalnoth prisoner, Talon. "Fascinating," Dr. Ross muttered, peering at a holographic display of Talon's cellular structure. "Their biology is so alien, yet there are intriguing similarities to terrestrial life." Jordan leaned over the scientist's shoulder. "Have you found anything we can use against them?" Dr. Ross's eyes lit up. "Perhaps. Their sensory organs show an extreme sensitivity to certain radiation frequencies. With further research, we might be able to develop a weapon that exploits this weakness." While Dr. Ross delved into Chalnoth physiology, Jordan tasked Commander Sarah Reeves with organizing scouting missions to nearby star systems. Her weathered face was set with grit as she briefed her teams. "Our primary objectives are twofold," Reeves explained, her voice carrying across the briefing room. "First, we need to gather intelligence on Chalnoth movements. Second, we must identify potential allies in our fight against them. The galaxy is vast, and we can't stand alone against this threat." Weeks passed, and scouting teams returned with valuable data on Chalnoth fleet movements and supply lines. But it was Commander Reeves herself who made first contact with a potential ally. Her scout ship had just entered an uncharted system when alarms blared throughout the cockpit. "Unidentified vessel detected," her pilot announced. "It appears to be damaged." As they approached, they saw a sleek, silver craft unlike anything in human or Chalnoth design. Its hull was scarred with weapons fire, and it was venting atmosphere from multiple breaches. "Open a channel," Reeves ordered. "Unknown vessel, this is Commander Sarah Reeves of Earth. Do you require assistance?" A moment of static, then a melodious voice responded. "Earth vessel, this is Captain Naira of the Zarkai. We are refugees fleeing Chalnoth expansion. Our systems are critical. Please, we need help." Reeves didn't hesitate. "We're sending a tractor beam now, Captain. We'll bring you to safety." Back on New Haven, Jordan studied the Zarkai ship with fascination. Its crew, led by Captain Nira, were humanoid in appearance but with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Their eyes, large and expressive, held both wisdom and sorrow. "The Chalnoth destroyed our homeworld," Nira explained, her voice quavering. "We are a peaceful people, ill-equipped to defend ourselves against their aggression." Jordan saw an opportunity. "We can offer you sanctuary here on New Haven," he said. "In exchange, we would greatly value your technological expertise. Together, we might stand a chance against the Chalnoth." Naira considered for a moment, then nodded. "We accept your offer, Commander. The Zarkai will gladly share our knowledge if it means stopping the Chalnoth." As the human and Zarkai communities integrated, Jordan turned his attention to planning their first strike against the Chalnoth. Talon's interrogations had revealed the location of a nearby outpost, a tempting target that could yield crucial intelligence. In the war room, Jordan addressed a mixed group of human special forces and Zarkai volunteers. "This mission is high risk, but the potential rewards are immense," he explained, gesturing to a holographic map of the Chalnoth outpost. "We'll be using a combination of human combat tactics and Zarkai stealth technology." Dr. Ross stepped forward, holding a sleek, alien-looking weapon. "This device emits a focused beam of radiation tuned to Chalnoth physiology," he explained. "It should incapacitate them without causing permanent harm, perfect for capturing prisoners and gathering intel." As the strike team trained, tensions arose within the alliance. Kayla, the Zarkai's lead scientist, approached Jordan with concern etched on her features. "Commander, many of my people are uncomfortable with the idea of violence," she said. "Our culture is built on pacifism. This mission goes against everything we believe." Jordan listened patiently, then responded. I understand your concerns, Kayla, but sometimes we must fight to preserve peace. The Chalnoth won't stop their expansion unless we make them. Even as Jordan worked to smooth over cultural differences, Commander Reeves burst into his office with alarming news. "Sir, we've intercepted Chalnoth communications," she reported breathlessly. "They're constructing a massive fleet, far larger than what they used to attack Earth. It looks like they're planning to launch a new wave of conquest across the galaxy." Jordan's blood ran cold. The stakes had just gotten even higher. As final preparations for the raid were underway, a coded transmission crackled through New Haven's communication array. Jordan's heart raced as he decrypted the message. It was from Earth. "This is the Terra Nova Resistance," the message read. "We survived the initial attack. Chalnoth occupation is brutal, but we're fighting back. If you're out there, we need help." Jordan's mind reeled with the implications. Not all of humanity had been wiped out. There were survivors on Earth fighting against impossible odds. Their upcoming mission had just taken on a new level of importance. Addressing the combined human and Zarkai forces, Jordan's voice rang out with quiet intensity. "What we do here today isn't just about survival," he said. "It's about reclaiming our future. The Chalnoth thought they could wipe us out, but they've only succeeded in uniting us with new allies. Today, we strike our first blow against their empire." As the strike team boarded their stealth ships, a palpable tension filled the air. The fate of multiple species hung in the balance. Jordan watched them depart, knowing that the outcome of this mission could change the course of the war. The Chalnoth had unleashed a terrible force upon the galaxy, but in doing so, they had created something they never anticipated, an alliance of disparate species united in their purpose to resist tyranny. As the stealth ships disappeared into the void, Jordan allowed himself a moment of hope. The real fight was just beginning. The stealth ships sliced through the inky void, their Zarkai cloaking technology rendering them invisible to Chalnoth sensors. Inside the lead vessel, Jordan's fingers tightened around the control yoke as they approached the outpost. The mission's success hinged on their ability to remain undetected until the very last moment. "All teams, final systems check," Jordan whispered into his comm. A chorus of affirmatives crackled back. The outpost loomed before them, a dark silhouette against the starfield. Jordan gave the signal, and the strike team deployed with practiced precision. They moved like ghosts through the facility's outer defenses, their footsteps muffled by advanced dampening technology. Inside, the team split into pre-assigned groups. Jordan led his squad deeper into the complex, every sense on high alert. The corridors were eerily quiet, their stealth approach so far uncompromised. They reached the central data hub without incident. As Jordan's tech specialist began the download, he allowed himself a moment of cautious optimism. The wealth of information flowing into their secure drives could turn the tide of the war. Suddenly, a piercing alarm shattered the silence. Jordan's head snapped towards its source, a malfunctioning Zarkai device, its circuitry sparking and emitting a high-pitched whine. "We've been made," Jordan barked into his comm. "All units, prepare for contact." The words had barely left his mouth when the first wave of Chalnoth soldiers burst through a nearby blast door. Jordan raised Dr. Ross's radiation weapon, its unfamiliar weight balanced in his hands. He squeezed the trigger, and a beam of invisible energy lanced out. The lead Chalnoth crumpled instantly, its multifaceted eyes rolling back in its head. The effectiveness of the weapon sent a surge of hope through Jordan, but there was no time to celebrate. More Chalnoth poured into the room, forcing the strike team to take cover behind computer banks and structural supports. "Reeves," Jordan shouted over the din of weapons fire. "Take your team and secure the comm center. We'll hold them here and finish the download." Commander Sarah Reeves nodded grimly, gesturing to her half of the squad. They fought their way out of the data hub, disappearing down a side corridor. Jordan's group continued to hold their position, the air thick with ozone and the chittering battle cries of the Chalnoth. The radiation weapons proved devastatingly effective, but the Chalnoth pressed their attack with fanatical zeal. As the last of the data streamed into their drives, Jordan made a snap decision. "We're moving to the power core," he ordered. "Time to leave our hosts a parting gift." They fought their way through the facility, each chamber and corridor a new battleground. Jordan's muscles burned with exertion, his throat raw from shouting orders. Finally, they reached the pulsing heart of the outpost. As his team planted explosive charges around the core, Jordan found himself face-to-face with a towering Chalnoth officer. The alien's carapace bore intricate markings of rank, its eyes blazing with hatred. Jordan raised his weapon, but the Chalnoth was faster. A powerful blow sent the radiation gun skittering across the floor. They grappled fiercely, Jordan's combat training pitted against the alien's superior strength. With a desperate surge of effort, Jordan managed to pin the Chalnoth against a control panel. The officer snarled, mandibles clicking furiously. In that moment, Jordan saw beyond the alien's ferocity to the intelligence behind its eyes. This was no mindless drone, but a high-ranking official, a potential goldmine of information. With a well-placed strike, Jordan rendered the Chalnoth unconscious. He hefted the alien over his shoulder, grunting under its weight. "Change of plans," he called to his team. "We're taking a prisoner." As they prepared to extract, Jordan's comm crackled to life. Reeves's voice came through, tense but controlled. "Commander, we've secured the comm center. You need to hear this." The transmission she patched through chilled Jordan to his core. A Chalnoth patrol had stumbled upon New Haven's location. Their hidden sanctuary was under attack. Jordan's mind raced, weighing options in split seconds. The intel they'd gathered could be crucial to the war effort, but New Haven's fall would mean the loss of everything they'd fought for. "Reeves," he said, his voice tight. "Take half the team and head back to New Haven. Bring the data and our new friend here." He nodded towards the unconscious Chalnoth officer. "I'll take the rest and follow up on the shipyard coordinates you found." "Sir?" Reeves questioned, surprise evident in her voice. "We may not get another chance like this," Jordan explained. "If we can cripple their invasion fleet before it launches, we could save countless lives." Reeves hesitated for only a moment before acknowledging the order. As her team prepared to depart, Jordan led the remaining forces towards the outpost's hangar bay. The escape was chaotic, a running battle through corridors, slick with ichor and littered with debris. Jordan's team laid down covering fire as Reeves's group boarded their stealth ship, the precious cargo of data and prisoners secured. As the ship lifted off, Jordan triggered the charges they'd planted. The entire facility shuddered, alarms blaring as systems began to overload. His team fought their way to a Chalnoth transport ship, cutting down the skeleton crew with ruthless efficiency. Jordan threw himself into the pilot's seat, his hands flying over the alien controls. As the outpost began to break apart behind them, he gunned the engines, launching them into the void of space. In the relative calm that followed, Jordan allowed himself a moment to breathe. He studied the ship's systems, mind already formulating plans for their assault on the shipyard. The console beeped, indicating an incoming transmission. Jordan tensed, fearing their ruse had already been discovered. Instead, he heard Dr. Ross's voice, strained and punctuated by the sounds of battle. "Commander, we're under heavy fire," the scientist reported. "The Chalnoth patrol is small, but they've got us outgunned. We're holding for now, but I don't know how long we can last." Jordan's eyes hardened. He thought of the people back on New Haven, human and Zarkai alike, fighting desperately to defend their new home. Yet he also knew that the opportunity before them might be their best chance to strike a decisive blow against the Chalnoth. "Oh, hold on, Doctor," Jordan said, his voice steady despite the turmoil in his chest. "Reinforcements are on the way, just hold on." As he closed the channel, Jordan turned to address his team. Their faces were a mix of exhaustion and tenacity, human and Zarkai united in purpose. "I know you're all worried about New Haven," he began, "but right now we have a job to do. The Chalnoth shipyard is out there, and if we can take it out, we might just change the course of this war." He gestured to the stolen ship around them. "We've got the element of surprise on our side. They'll never expect an attack from one of their own vessels." As his team nodded in grim agreement, Jordan turned back to the controls. He set a course for the coordinates Reeves had discovered, pushing the engines to their limit. Ahead lay the unknown, a Chalnoth war machine of unimaginable scale and a battle that would test them to their very limits. Behind them, New Haven fought for survival, the fate of their fledgling alliance hanging in the balance. Jordan's hands tightened on the controls. Whatever challenges awaited them, he knew one thing for certain. The real fight was only just beginning. Jordan steeled himself, knowing the true test of their fledgling alliance lay ahead. The stolen Chalnoth transport ship cut through space, its engines straining as Jordan pushed them to maximum output. His team sat in tense silence, each lost in their own thoughts as they approached the massive shipyard. As they neared their target, Jordan activated the ship's comm system. "All teams, final briefing," he said, his voice steady despite the gravity of their mission. "We'll be splitting into 3 groups once we're inside. Alpha team will disable the defense grid, Beta team will plant the explosives, and I'll lead Gamma team to the command center. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. The fate of the entire galaxy rests on this mission." A chorus of acknowledgments echoed through the ship. Jordan allowed himself a moment to study the faces of his team, human and Zarkai alike, united in purpose. Their commitment was palpable, a stark counterpoint to the fear that threatened to gnaw at the edges of his consciousness. The shipyard loomed before them, a sprawling monstrosity that dwarfed anything humanity had ever constructed. Massive docking bays housed partially completed warships, their skeletons a chilling reminder of the Chalnoth's destructive ambitions. Jordan's hands danced across the alien controls, guiding their ship towards a docking port. "Crossing fingers our clearance codes hold up," he muttered. Tense seconds ticked by as they waited for a response from the shipyard's automated systems. A soft chime signaled their approval. Jordan released a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. "We're in," he announced. "Prepare for docking and immediate deployment." The ship settled into its berth with a gentle thud. Jordan's team moved with practiced efficiency, each member double-checking their gear before assembling at the airlock. "Alpha team, you're up first," Jordan ordered. The human special forces operatives nodded grimly before slipping out into the shipyard. Beta team followed moments later, their Zarkai members moving with an eerie grace that still caught Jordan off guard. Jordan led Gamma team out last, his modified radiation weapon held at the ready. The cavernous interior of the shipyard stretched out before them, a maze of catwalks and partially constructed ships. As they moved deeper into the facility, the true scale of the Chalnoth war machine became apparent. Hundreds of battleships in various stages of completion filled the massive space, each one a potential harbinger of destruction for countless worlds. Jordan pushed aside the dread that threatened to overwhelm him, focusing instead on the task at hand. They encountered minimal resistance as they made their way towards the command center, a testament to the effectiveness of their disguise. Suddenly, Jordan's comm crackled to life. "Alpha team reporting," came the whispered voice of Lieutenant Chen. "Defense grid is down. You should have a clear shot at the command center." "Good work, Alpha," Jordan responded. "Rendezvous at the extraction point as planned." They were nearing the command center when all hell broke loose. A squad of Chalnoth soldiers rounded a corner, their chitinous armor gleaming under the harsh industrial lighting. For a split second, both groups froze in surprise. Jordan reacted first, squeezing the trigger of his radiation weapon. The lead Chalnoth crumpled, its multifaceted eyes rolling back in its head. The air filled with the sound of weapons fire as both sides dove for cover. "Push forward," Jordan shouted over the din. His team responded with a coordinated assault, their strange weapons cutting through the Chalnoth defenses. As they fought their way into the command center, Jordan caught sight of a Chalnoth officer barking orders from behind a bank of computers. The alien's armor bore intricate markings indicating a high rank. Making a split-second decision, Jordan signaled to his team. "Cover me," he yelled, then sprinted towards the officer. The Chalnoth turned, mandibles clicking in surprise as Jordan tackled it to the ground. They grappled fiercely, the alien's superior strength nearly overwhelming Jordan. But years of combat training kicked in, and Jordan managed to pin the Chalnoth, using its own exoskeleton against it. "Someone secure this one," Jordan called out. Two of his team members rushed over, quickly binding the struggling officer. With the command center secured, Jordan's tech specialist got to work accessing the central computer. Data on Chalnoth fleet movements, military strategies, and technological specifications began flooding into their secure drives. Alarms blared throughout the shipyard as the Chalnoth finally became aware of the full extent of the intrusion. "Time to go," Jordan ordered, hefting the bound Chalnoth officer over his shoulder. The journey back to their ship was a gauntlet of firefights and near misses. Jordan's team fought with desperate intensity, knowing that failure meant certain death. They rendezvoused with Alpha and Beta teams along the way, their numbers bolstered but diminished by casualties. As they neared their stolen transport, a massive Chalnoth battlecruiser entered the shipyard. Its weapon systems began to power up, promising swift destruction. Jordan handed off the captured officer to one of his team members and raced to the pilot's seat. His hands flew over the controls, bringing the ship's engines online. "Everyone hold on," he shouted as he gunned the thrusters. What followed was a heart-stopping game of cat and mouse through the shipyard. Jordan weaved between half-constructed ships and support structures, using them as cover from the battlecruiser's weapons. Just as they neared the shipyard's exit, Jordan activated the detonator for Beta Team's explosives. The resulting chain reaction rocked the entire facility. Massive fireballs bloomed in their wake, consuming vital infrastructure and numerous partially completed ships. The shockwave from the explosions catapulted their ship out into open space. Jordan didn't dare breathe easily until they had rendezvoused with the hidden fleet of human and Zarkai ships waiting nearby. As they docked with the main vessel, Jordan's comm unit chirped urgently. It was Commander Reeves, her voice tense but controlled. "Commander, New Haven's evacuation is complete, but we've detected a large Chalnoth fleet on an intercept course." Jordan's mind raced, processing the new information. They had dealt the Chalnoth a significant blow, but the fight was just the beginning. He quickly formulated a new strategy, one that would utilize their hard-won advantages. "Set course for the Helios system," he ordered, referring to a nearby star known for its volatile nature. "We'll use the stellar phenomena there to set up an ambush." As the fleet jumped to faster-than-light travel, Jordan turned his attention to their captured Chalnoth officer. "Get our best xenolinguists and interrogators on this one," he instructed. "And I want our science team analyzing that stolen data immediately. We need every edge we can get." Jordan made his way to the bridge, his body aching from the intense combat but his mind sharp with focus. The view screen showed the swirling colors of FTL travel, a stark contrast to the grim faces of his crew. He knew that the coming battle would test them all to their limits. But as he looked around at the determined faces of humans and Zarkai working side by side, Jordan felt a glimmer of hope. They had accomplished the impossible once today. Perhaps they could do it again. The ship's AI announced their approach to the Helios system. Jordan squared his shoulders, preparing to brief his captains on the upcoming battle. As the fleet dropped out of FTL, the volatile star came into view, its surface roiling with solar flares and magnetic storms. It would be here, amid this cosmic tumult, that they would make their stand against the approaching Chalnoth Armada. Armada. Jordan's eyes narrowed as he studied the tactical display, his mind racing through potential strategies. "All ships, maintain position behind the gas giant," he ordered through the fleet-wide comm. "Prepare for imminent contact." The human Zarkai fleet held its breath as the Chalnoth forces entered the system. Massive battleships dwarfed their own vessels, filled with weaponry that could vaporize entire squadrons in seconds. Jordan turned to his science officer, a Zarkai named Zixara. "Status on the solar probes?" "Ready for deployment, Commander," Zixara replied, her multifaceted eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Dr. Ross's calculations indicate a 78% chance of success." Jordan nodded grimly. "It'll have to do. Launch on my mark." As the Chalnoth fleet advanced, Seemingly oblivious to the trap, Jordan waited for the perfect moment. The volatile star pulsed and writhed, its surface a maelstrom of plasma and magnetic fields. "Now," Jordan barked. Dozens of probes streaked from the hidden fleet, their miniature engines pushing them towards the star at incredible speeds. They disappeared into the roiling surface, swallowed by the cosmic inferno. For several agonizing seconds, nothing happened. Then, with a blinding flash, a massive solar flare erupted from the star's surface. The wave of energized particles slammed into the Chalnoth fleet like a tsunami of fire. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta," Jordan commanded. "Hit them hard and fast." The human Zarkai fleet burst from its hiding place, smaller ships darting between the lumbering Chalnoth vessels. Jordan's own ship, the Defiant, led the charge, weaving through a hail of disoriented enemy fire. On the bridge of the Defiant, alarms blared as they narrowly avoided a collision with a Chalnoth cruiser. Jordan gripped his command chair, barking orders to his crew. "Target their propulsion systems, don't let them regroup." The battle devolved into a chaotic dance of destruction. Human and Zarkai ships struck with surgical precision, exploiting weaknesses in the Chalnoth defenses before disappearing into the gas giant's rings. Jordan turned to the captured Chalnoth officer, Krax, who stood under guard at the rear of the bridge. "Their formation, what's changing? What are they planning?" Krax's mandibles clicked in agitation. "They seek to encircle your fleet to cut off retreat, but their left flank is weak. Strike there and you may break their line." Jordan studied the alien, searching for any sign of deception. Finding none, he nodded to his tactical officer. "Relay those coordinates to the fleet. Concentrate our attack there." As the battle raged on, a Zarkai science vessel transmitted an urgent message. "Commander Davis, the star, where it's becoming unstable. Our actions have triggered a chain reaction leading to an imminent supernova." Jordan's blood ran cold as he processed the implications. He glanced at the tactical display, noting the positions of both fleets deep within the system. There was no time for either side to escape without assistance. "Open a channel to the Chalnoth flagship," Jordan ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The face of the Chalnoth commander, Grok, appeared on the screen, his chitinous features contorted in a mixture of rage and confusion. "What trick is this, human?" Grok snarled. "Do you seek to distract us from your inevitable defeat?" Jordan held up his hands in a gesture of peace. "No trick, Commander Grok. Our battle has destabilized the star. In minutes, it will go supernova, destroying everything in this system. We need to work together if either of our fleets is to survive." Grok's compound eyes narrowed in suspicion. "And why should I believe you?" "Because I'm offering you our faster-than-light drive technology," Jordan replied. "It's more efficient than yours. It's the only way we'll all make it out alive." The Chalnoth commander fell silent, his mandibles working furiously as he considered the offer. In the background, Jordan could hear the frantic voices of Chalnoth officers reporting on the star's deterioration. Finally, Grok spoke. "Very well, human. We accept your offer of assistance, but know this. Any treachery will be met with swift and terrible vengeance." Jordan nodded grimly. "Understood. Now let's get to work. We don't have much time." What followed was a frantic race against the clock. Human, Zarkai, and Chalnoth engineers worked side by side, upgrading the massive Chalnoth ships with the advanced drive technology. The star's instability grew with each passing moment, solar flares lashing out with increasing frequency and intensity. As they worked, Jordan found himself in tense negotiations with Grok. The human commander leveraged their desperate situation to secure vital concessions, a temporary ceasefire in other sectors, and information on alien races under Chalnoth rule. "You drive a hard bargain, human," Grok growled as they finalized the terms. "But know that this changes nothing in the long term. We will still crush your pitiful alliance." Jordan met the alien's gaze unflinchingly. "We'll see about that. For now, let's focus on surviving." The star's surface began to buckle and heave, massive sections collapsing in on themselves. The shockwave of the impending supernova built with each passing second. All ships, prepare for immediate jump, Jordan ordered. Assist any damaged vessels regardless of affiliation. We all leave together or not at all. The combined fleets formed up, the newly upgraded Chalnoth ships straining under the enhanced power of their drives. Damaged vessels were towed by their stronger counterparts, crew members from all sides working together in a desperate bid for survival. As the Star reached its breaking point, Jordan's ship coordinated the mass exodus. He watched the tactical display, counting down the seconds until the supernova would engulf them all. "Jump now," he shouted. The fleets vanished in a brilliant flash of light, just as the Star exploded with unimaginable force. The shockwave pursued them through hyperspace, battering the lagging ships with intense radiation and debris. When they finally emerged from faster-than-light travel, both fleets regrouped at a safe distance. Through the view screen, Jordan watched the remnants of the obliterated star system drift past, a somber reminder of their narrow escape. He turned to face Grok, whose image once again filled the screen. The Chalnoth commander's demeanor had changed subtly, a newfound respect evident in his posture. "It seems we both live to fight another day," Grok said, his voice low and thoughtful. Jordan nodded, sensing an opportunity. "Perhaps we don't have to fight at all. We've proven today that we can work together when it matters. Maybe there's a way forward that doesn't involve more bloodshed." Grok remained silent for a long moment, his alien features unreadable. Finally, he spoke. "You have given us much to consider, Commander Davis. We will discuss your proposal." As the communication ended, Jordan felt the weight of possibilities settle on his shoulders. He had no illusions about the difficulty of the path ahead, but for the first time since the war began, he allowed himself to hope. "Commander," his XO said, interrupting his thoughts, "what are your orders?" Jordan straightened, his willpower hardening. "Prepare for negotiations. The real work starts now." Now. Jordan's words hung in the air as the bridge crew sprang into action. The aftermath of their narrow escape from the supernova left an eerie calm in its wake, but Jordan knew this moment of peace was fragile. "Commander," Zixara called out, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the starlight. "We're receiving a transmission from the Chalnoth flagship." Jordan nodded, straightening his uniform. "Put it through." The imposing visage of Commander Grok filled the view screen once more. The Chalnoth leader's mandibles twitched, a sign Jordan had come to recognize as contemplation. "Human," Grok began, his gravelly voice reverberating through the bridge. "Your actions today have given us pause. Perhaps there is more to your species than we first believed." Jordan seized the opportunity. "Commander Grok, I propose a face-to-face meeting, neutral ground. We have much to discuss about our future." Grok's compound eyes narrowed, but after a moment of consideration he nodded. "Agreed. We will rendezvous at these coordinates in one standard cycle." As the transmission ended, Jordan turned to his XO. "Prepare a security detail and inform our diplomats. We're not letting this chance slip away." The next day, Jordan found himself aboard a Zarkai diplomatic vessel, its sleek, organic design a stark contrast to the utilitarian human ships and the brutalist architecture of Chalnoth craft. As he waited in the conference room, he reviewed the data they had gathered on Chalnoth society and military doctrine. The door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing Commander Grok and his entourage. The Chalnoth's massive frame barely fit through the doorway, his exoskeleton gleaming under the soft lighting. "Commander Davis," Grok rumbled, inclining his head slightly. "Let us speak plainly. Why should we consider peace with a species we were poised to conquer?" Jordan activated a holographic display, showing footage from their recent battles and the supernova escape. "Because we've proven ourselves to be more than you anticipated. Our adaptability, our ingenuity, they're our greatest strengths, and as allies, those strengths could benefit us all." He proceeded to lay out evidence of human achievements, technological advancements, and successful collaborations with the Zarkai. Grok listened intently, his posture shifting from dismissive to intrigued as the presentation continued. "You've given us much to consider, human," Grok admitted, his tone thoughtful. Perhaps we have underestimated your potential as... A sudden explosion rocked the ship, cutting off Grok's words. Alarms blared as the lights flickered and dimmed. "We're under attack," Jordan's security chief shouted, rushing into the room. "Chalnoth vessels have opened fire on both fleets." Grok roared in anger, turning to his communication officer. "What is the meaning of this? Who dares to defy my orders?" The answer came in the form of a transmission that forced its way onto every screen. The face of another Chalnoth appeared, his features twisted in a snarl of contempt. "This is Sub-Commander Vex," the newcomer announced. "Grok has grown weak, considering peace with these inferior beings. I now assume command of the true Chalnoth forces. All loyal warriors, destroy the humans and their alien collaborators." Chaos erupted as the ship shuddered under another barrage. Jordan locked eyes with Grok, seeing his own persistence mirrored in the alien's gaze. "It seems we face a common enemy," Jordan said, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. "What do you say we face it together?" Grok's mandibles clicked in what Jordan now recognized as a grim smile. "Indeed, human. Let us show these traitors the error of their ways." What followed was a frantic scramble to coordinate their forces. Jordan's mind raced as he issued orders to his fleet, working in tandem with Grok to form a unified defense against Vex's rebels. The space around them erupted into a furious battle. Loyal Chalnoth ships fought alongside human and Zarkai vessels, their formations adapting to complement each other's strengths. Jordan found himself impressed by the Chalnoth's tactical prowess, even as he worked to counter their more aggressive maneuvers. On the bridge of his flagship, the Defiant, Jordan coordinated the Allied fleet's movements. Holographic displays showed the ebb and flow of the battle, with Vex's forces slowly being pushed back. "Commander," his tactical officer called out, "Vex's flagship is making a run for the Defiant. They're charging weapons." Jordan's mind raced through possible countermeasures, but before he could issue an order, a massive energy beam lanced out from Vex's ship. The Defiant shuddered violently, alarms blaring as systems failed across the board. "Hull breach on decks 4 through 7, the damage control officer reported. "We can't take another hit like that." Jordan gritted his teeth, knowing what had to be done. "All hands, prepare to abandon ship. We're evacuating to the nearest Allied vessel." As the crew rushed to the escape pods, Jordan led a small team towards the shuttle bay. His plan was forming even as they ran through the corridors, dodging falling debris and bursts of escaping atmosphere. "This is Commander Davis to all ship," he broadcast. "I'm leading a boarding party onto Vex's command ship. We'll take out their weapons from the inside. Cover us on approach." The shuttle launched from the dying Defiant, immediately coming under heavy fire. Jordan piloted the craft himself, weaving through the debris field of destroyed ships and incoming projectiles. As they neared Vex's flagship, a Zarkai cruiser moved to intercept a barrage of missiles heading their way. The alien ship's experimental shield technology flared to life, absorbing the impact and giving Jordan's team the opening they needed. The shuttle crashed into the Chalnoth ship's hangar bay, the impact jarring Jordan's bones. He and his team emerged from the wreckage, their enhanced combat suits allowing them to shake off the collision. "Move out," Jordan ordered, raising his radiation-based rifle. "We need to get to the bridge and end this." They fought their way through the alien corridors, the close quarters making each engagement a life-or-death struggle. Jordan's team used their smaller size and agility to their advantage, outmaneuvering the larger Chalnoth warriors. As they neared the bridge, Jordan received a transmission from Dr. Ross back on the research vessel. "Commander, we've made a breakthrough. The Chalnoth's aggression, it's partly due to their ship's radiation emissions. We might have a long-term solution to the conflict." Jordan filed the information away, knowing it could be crucial for future negotiations. But for now, he had a more immediate problem to solve. The team breached the bridge, engaging Vex and his elite guards in a fierce firefight. Jordan's enhanced reflexes allowed him to dodge a swipe from Vex's massive claws, closing the distance between them. In a display of acrobatic prowess, Jordan vaulted over a console, using his momentum to disarm the Chalnoth leader. Vex roared in fury, but Jordan's hand-to-hand combat training paid off as he maneuvered the alien into a submission hold. "Stand down," Jordan shouted to the remaining Chalnoth on the bridge. "Your leader is defeated. This ends now." With Vex subdued, Jordan used the ship's communications to broadcast their victory to both fleets. The rebel forces, seeing their leader captured, began to stand down. In the aftermath of the battle, Jordan and Grok reconvened on the Zarkai diplomatic vessel. The atmosphere was tense but filled with a newfound respect between the two commanders. "You have proven your worth in battle, human," Grok said, his voice carrying a hint of admiration. "Perhaps there is more to be gained from alliance than conquest." Jordan nodded, seizing the moment. "I have a proposal, Commander Grok. A joint mission. Humans, Chalnoth, and Zarkai working together to reclaim Earth from the occupying forces. It would be a chance to prove the strength of our new alliance." Grok's compound eyes gleamed with interest. "A bold plan, Commander Davis, but there will be resistance from those who have not witnessed these events." "Then we'll face that resistance together," Jordan replied firmly, "and we have more than just military might on our side." He shared Dr. Ross's findings on Chalnoth biology and the potential treatment for their aggressive tendencies. The revelation sparked intense debate among the Chalnoth present, with opinions divided on whether this was an opportunity for positive change or a threat to their way of life. As the discussions continued, Jordan's mind was already racing ahead to the challenges they would face. He tasked Commander Sarah Reeves with assembling a diverse team for the Earth mission, knowing that overcoming cultural differences would be as crucial as any tactical advantage. The joint fleet began preparations for the journey to Earth, the once enemies now working side by side. But as they readied themselves for departure, a startling report came through from the long-range sensors. "Commander," Zixara called out, her voice tinged with concern. "We're detecting a massive energy surge from the direction of human space. The power signature, it's unlike anything we've ever seen." Jordan studied the readouts, his brow furrowing. The source of the anomaly was unknown, but its sheer magnitude suggested a weapon or technology far beyond their current understanding. He looked up at the expectant faces of his human crew, the stoic Chalnoth and the curious Zarkai. The weight of command settled on his shoulders as he considered their next move. "Prepare a scouting mission to investigate this energy surge," Jordan ordered, "but the main fleet will continue preparations for Earth. Whatever this new force is, we'll face it together." As the Alliance mobilized, Jordan couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the precipice of something monumental. The path to Earth was clear, but this new anomaly threatened to upend everything they thought they knew about the balance of power in the galaxy. With a deep breath, Jordan turned his attention to the myriad tasks at hand. The journey to reclaim Earth would be challenging enough, but now they had to contend with an unknown power that could reshape the very nature of their conflict. As he issued orders and coordinated with Grok and the Zarkai leaders, Jordan steeled himself for the trials ahead, knowing that the true test of their newfound alliance was yet to come. The combined human Chalnoth-Zarkai fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel, Earth's blue orb growing larger in their view screens. Jordan Davis stood on the bridge of the flagship, his hands clasped behind his back as he surveyed the planet he once called home. "All ships, report in," he ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. As each vessel confirmed its readiness, Jordan nodded to his communications officer. "Open a channel to all Allied ships." The officer complied, and Jordan addressed the fleet. "This is Commander Davis. We've trained for this moment, planned for every contingency. Now, we liberate Earth. Remember, we fight not just for humanity, but for a future where all our species can coexist. Good luck and Godspeed." As the transmission ended, the sensors lit up with activity. The occupying Chalnoth fleet had detected their arrival and was moving to engage. "Enemy ships approaching, Commander," the tactical officer reported. "They're launching fighters and powering up their main weapons." Jordan's mind raced through tactical scenarios. Deploy our fighter squadrons, have the Zarkai cruisers form a defensive screen. Chalnoth battle groups prepare to engage their capital ships. The space around Earth erupted into chaos as the two fleets clashed. Jordan watched the battle unfold on the holographic display, issuing orders and adjusting strategies on the fly. "Sir, the new radiation-based weapons are showing significant effect," his weapons officer called out. "Enemy ships are taking heavy damage." Jordan allowed himself a small smile. "Good. Focus fire on their command vessels. We need to disrupt their chain of command." As the space battle raged, Jordan turned his attention to the planet's surface. "What's the status of their orbital defenses?" The tactical officer's face fell. "Heavy fortifications, sir. They've converted our own satellite network into a defensive grid. A direct assault on the surface would be costly." Jordan studied the display, his mind working through the problem. "We need to take out those platforms, redirect our bombers to target the key orbital installations. Once we create a gap, we can start deploying ground forces." The battle shifted as the Alliance forces began targeting the orbital defenses. Explosions bloomed silently in space as platforms were destroyed, slowly creating openings in the defensive network. "Commander," his XO interrupted. "Commander Reeves reports her strike team is ready for deployment." Jordan nodded. "Give them the green light. Tell them to aim for the opening we're creating over the North American continent." On a separate channel, Jordan contacted Commander Sarah Reeves. "Sarah, you're clear for insertion. Your primary objective is to secure that command center and gather all the intel you can on their ground forces." "Understood, sir," Sarah replied, her voice tight with pre-mission tension. "We won't let you down." Jordan watched as the strike team's ship slipped through the weakened defenses, streaking towards the planet's surface. He knew the diverse team of humans, Zarkai, and cooperative Chalnoth would face fierce resistance, but their success could turn the tide of the entire operation. As the hours passed, Jordan coordinated the space battle while receiving sporadic updates from the ground team. They had successfully infiltrated the Chalnoth command center and were fighting their way to the central data hub. A transmission from Dr. Ross's stealth ship in low Earth orbit caught Jordan's attention. "Commander, we've set up the mobile lab and are ready to begin large-scale production of the aggression mitigation treatment. We've also received volunteers from the captured Chalnoth soldiers for initial testing." "Excellent work, Doctor," Jordan replied. "Keep me updated on the results. If this works, it could be the key to a lasting peace." Just as Jordan was about to return his focus to the battle, an urgent communication came through. "Commander Davis, this is Captain Lee of the scouting mission. We've discovered something incredible." Jordan's pulse quickened. "Go ahead, Captain." "Sir, we found an alien artifact of immense power. Our readings suggest it was activated by the conflict between humans and Chalnoth. We're calling it the Nexus. Its energy output is off the charts. It could potentially alter the balance of power in the entire galaxy." Before Jordan could fully process this information, alarms blared across the bridge. His tactical officer's voice cut through the noise. "Sir, we're detecting a new group of Chalnoth ships approaching at high speed. They're not responding to hails from Commander Grok's forces." Jordan's mind raced. "It's Vex. He must have intercepted our communication about the Nexus." He turned to his XO. "Contact Commander Grok. Tell him to take his battle group and intercept Vex's forces. We can't let them reach that artifact." As Grok's ships peeled away to engage the new threat, Jordan made a decision. "Prepare my personal shuttle. I'm leading a team to secure the Nexus." His XO's eyes widened. "Sir, is that wise? We're in the middle of liberating Earth." Jordan's gaze was resolute. "The Nexus could decide the fate of this war and beyond. I need to be there." He tapped his comm. "Commander Reeves, what's your status?" Sarah's voice came through, punctuated by the sound of weapons fire. "We've secured the command center, sir. Downloading their tactical data now. It's a goldmine of information on their ground forces." "Good work. Complete your mission and coordinate with our ground forces. I'm heading off-site to deal with a new development." As Jordan made his way to the shuttle bay, he received another update from Dr. Ross. "Commander, initial results from the treatment are promising. Treated Chalnoth are showing increased rationality without losing their core personalities. We're preparing for wider deployment." Jordan allowed himself a moment of hope as he boarded his shuttle with a hand-picked team of specialists. As they launched into the chaotic space around Earth, he could see the liberation forces making progress. Major cities were being retaken, and reports were coming in of human resistance groups joining the fight. The shuttle weaved through debris and weapons fire, heading towards the coordinates of the Nexus. Jordan could see Grok's forces engaged with Vex's ships, buying them time to reach the artifact. As they approached, the true scale of the Nexus became apparent. It was a massive structure, pulsing with energy that even their unenhanced eyes could perceive. "Sir," his pilot called out, "I'm detecting active defense systems on the artifact. They're powering up." Jordan gripped his seat as energy beams lashed out from the Nexus, indiscriminately targeting both allied and enemy ships. "Evasive maneuvers. Get us as close as you can to that entry point." The shuttle jerked and weaved, narrowly avoiding the artifact's defenses. As they neared their target, Jordan saw Vex's personal ship approaching from the other side. "We need to move fast," Jordan ordered as the shuttle touched down on the Nexus's surface. "Secure the entry point and push towards the core. We can't let Vex activate this thing first." As Jordan and his team battled through the Nexus's internal defenses, he knew the fate of Earth, and perhaps the galaxy, hung in the balance. The artifact's power thrummed around them, growing stronger with each step towards its core. With Vex's forces closing in and time running out, Jordan steeled himself for the final push, knowing that his next decisions could shape the future of all three species. Jordan and his team pressed forward, their weapons at the ready as they navigated the twisting corridors of the Nexus. The alien structure pulsed with an eerie blue light, casting long shadows that seemed to move of their own accord. "Contact!" shouted Commander Reeves as a swarm of spherical drones rounded the corner ahead. The air filled with the sound of gunfire as the team took cover behind strange, angular protrusions in the walls. Jordan ducked as an energy beam sizzled past his head. "Push through," he ordered, gesturing for the Zarkai soldiers to flank the drones. Their insectoid forms moved with uncanny speed, scaling the walls and ceiling to get better firing positions. A Chalnoth warrior roared in defiance, charging forward with his massive frame acting as a shield for the smaller humans behind him. Energy blasts scorched his thick hide, but he pressed on, smashing drones with his bare hands. As they fought their way deeper into the Nexus, Jordan's comm crackled to life. "Commander, this is Dr. Ross. The treatment is working. We're seeing widespread effects across the Chalnoth forces planetside." Jordan allowed himself a brief smile as he fired at another drone. "Excellent work, Doctor. Keep it up." The team encountered increasingly complex defenses as they neared the core. Shimmering energy barriers blocked their path, requiring the combined efforts of human ingenuity, Zarkai technology, and Chalnoth strength to bypass. "Sir," called out one of the human soldiers, "our scanners are picking up Chalnoth life signs ahead. It's got to be Vex." Jordan nodded grimly. "Double time, people. We can't let him activate the Nexus first." They burst into the central chamber, a vast spherical room dominated by a pulsing crystalline structure at its center. Vex and his followers were already there, the Chalnoth leader interfacing with a control panel at the base of the crystal. "Take cover!" Jordan yelled as Vex's soldiers opened fire. The chamber erupted into chaos, energy weapons and projectiles crisscrossing the space between ancient alien pillars. Jordan analyzed the situation, noting the positions of his team and the enemies. He caught Commander Reeves's eye and signaled a flanking maneuver. She nodded, directing a group of Zarkai to circle around while providing covering fire. As the battle raged, Jordan saw his opportunity. Vex was exposed, too focused on the Nexus to pay attention to the fight around him. Without hesitation, Jordan sprinted from his cover, dodging energy blasts and leaping over debris. "Vex!" he shouted as he closed the distance. The Chalnoth leader turned, his eyes widening in surprise as Jordan tackled him. They crashed to the ground at the base of the Nexus, grappling for control. Vex was immensely strong, but Jordan had trained extensively in close-quarters combat. He managed to break free of the Chalnoth's grip, landing a solid punch to Vex's jaw. "It's over, Vex," Jordan growled as they struggled. "Your forces on Earth are standing down as we speak." Vex snarled, "I'll destroy this entire system before I let you win, human." As they fought, the crystal structure above them began to pulse more rapidly. Arcs of energy danced across its surface, growing in intensity with each passing second. Suddenly, a blinding flash filled the chamber. Jordan felt a strange sensation, as if his mind was being stretched across vast distances. Images flooded his consciousness. Ancient Chalnoth civilizations rising and falling, early humans taking their first steps on the African savanna, and countless alien species he had never seen before. He saw the interconnectedness of all life, the shared struggles and triumphs that united seemingly disparate beings across the cosmos. In that moment, Jordan understood the true purpose of the Nexus. With revitalized commitment, he pinned Vex to the ground, forcing the Chalnoth leader's hand onto the control panel. "See what I see," Jordan said through gritted teeth. Vex's eyes went wide as the visions washed over him. His struggles ceased as understanding dawned on his face, replaced by an expression of shock and then profound sadness. The energy from the Nexus expanded, enveloping the entire chamber and beyond. Jordan felt his mind connect with every being in the solar system, human, Chalnoth, and Zarkai alike. For a brief, transcendent moment, they all shared each other's experiences, fears, and hopes. As the energy faded, Jordan helped Vex to his feet. The once fierce Chalnoth leader looked shaken, his aggressive demeanor replaced by quiet contemplation. I understand now," Vex said softly. "What have we done?" Jordan placed a hand on Vex's shoulder. "What matters is what we do next." Using the Nexus's control panel, Jordan broadcast a message to all forces in the solar system. His words, infused with the artifact's power, carried the weight of the shared experience they had all just undergone. "This is Commander Jordan Davis. To all humans, Chalnoth and Zarkai, the fighting ends now. We have been given a gift of understanding. Let us use it to forge a new path forward together." Reports began flooding in from Earth and the space around it. Chalnoth soldiers were laying down their weapons, many of them weeping as the full impact of their actions hit them. Human and Zarkai forces ceased fire, approaching their former enemies with offers of aid and comfort. In the Nexus chamber, Jordan's team and Vex's followers looked at each other with new eyes. Commander Reeves stepped forward, extending her hand to a Chalnoth warrior. After a moment's hesitation, he took it. "Commander," Reeves said, turning to Jordan, "what now?" Jordan looked around the chamber, his mind racing with possibilities. "Now, we build something new, a council with representatives from all our species. And others? I saw so many others out there." Vex nodded solemnly. "The Chalnoth will answer for what we've done, but we would be honored to be part of this new beginning." As the group began to discuss the logistics of their new alliance, Jordan's calm buzzed again. "Commander," came Dr. Ross's voice, "you won't believe what's happening down here. It's like everyone just woke up from a bad dream." Jordan smiled. "I believe it, Doctor. Get ready, we have a lot of work ahead of us." He turned back to the assembled group, a mix of species that had been bitter enemies mere hours ago. "Let's get started," he said. "We have a galaxy to introduce ourselves to."
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.